Yes, people, we're locked in right here, live and direct. We have the one and only Ragz TV from Poetic Unity. First of all, let us know what is Poetic Unity, the reason for it, and how it got founded. A little bit of background.
Yeah, so Poetic Unity is a Brixton-based charity. I founded it just over 5 years ago now. February 2015 is when we started.
Okay.
And basically, yeah, Poetic Unity, like, for me, like, the main reason why I started is because I wanted to give young people a voice. I wanted to give young people more engaging education. And I wanted to give young people a place where they could be around a community in a safe and friendly environment. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Because you're quite young yourself. So what was that inspiration? Was you seeing people not achieving? What was it that sparked that for you?
Yeah, when I thought of the idea, I was 26 at the time. When I thought of the idea, and then obviously when I actually like made it a reality, I was 27. So for me, obviously, like I felt like as a young person, like I was marginalized, didn't it? Like people didn't care about what I had to say.
Yeah.
Especially in certain environments, you know what I'm saying, in certain like rooms, you know what I'm trying to say, in certain like places and certain government, you know, offices or whatever, you know what I'm saying, where young people should be getting heard, because obviously young people are the future, you know. So I felt marginalized myself. So I felt like, you know, if I'm feeling this way, imagine how the younger people are feeling. You know what I'm trying to say? The people that are like 16, 17 or whatever, you know what I'm saying? So for me, it's definitely something that I went through myself, and something that I could see, like, from the community I'm from. Like, I was born in Brixton, so being from that community, like, I could see, like, how we were treated differently to, say, other people in other communities, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for real. So what is your interest in poetry, and how did that inspiration, or how did it start for you?
That's an interesting thing. I never used to like poetry, you know. I actually used to be in school. Yeah. Like, for me, poetry, because the way it's delivered to me, I didn't like how it was delivered. So, for example, like, when I was in school, the only thing I was taught was Shakespeare and the anthology, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I didn't relate to any of that, you know what I'm trying to say? So it took me a long time for me to get into poetry. I was more into hip-hop and grime growing up as a young person.
Okay.
I literally got into poetry by accident. So, like, I wrote a piece called Digital Slaves.
Yeah.
Which I wrote when I was like 25, but I think I started performing it when I was 26. Okay. And I started performing it in different venues, and then I remember this guy come up to me and he was like, "Oh, Ragz, you're a sick poet." And I was like, "Poet? I ain't a poet." I'm trying to say, and like I realized at that point why he said that, because when I was performing hip hop tracks that I'd written before, whatever, it was getting a completely different response from the crowd than, say, the spoken word piece that I wrote was getting. I didn't even realize it was a spoken word piece at the time, but when I deeped it, I realized I clocked that when I was performing this piece, you could hear a pin drop. Everyone was listening to the words I was saying. Whereas performing hip hop tracks like before, sometimes people will be talking in between, some people will be vibing to it, but some people will just be listening to the beat. You know what I'm trying to say? But with spoken word, people listen attentively to the words. That's what they're there to do, to listen to what you're saying. And I've always been a man about words. Yeah. So that's when I really started to like spoken word and poetry. You know what I'm trying to say? Literally, when I was like, that's kind of why, if I never created Digital Slaves, I may never have created Poetic Unity, because that really led me to creating Poetic Unity, because I saw how powerful poetry was at that point and how it really helped me, you know, have a voice, and also helped me like get my point across to a larger audience, because people were actually listening to what I was saying instead of just listening to a beat.
For real. And in your words, is there a difference between poetry and spoken word?
Yeah, there is. I think, you know what it is? It's kind of like similar to, like, you know, like in hip hop, yeah?
Yeah.
They'll have like, I don't know, like they'll have trap. Okay. And then they'll have, you know what I'm saying? They'll have, like, I feel like spoken word is a form of poetry. So, for example, to me, poetry is like, how can I put it? Poetry is like what you read in a book. So I see poetry more as page. So poetry starting to be read instead of starting to be performed. That's the best way to put it. Whereas spoken word is starting to be performed, not starting to be read.
Okay.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, for real.
Like, to me, spoken word is more of a performance-based art, whereas poetry is more of a written-based. So you're more reading it. You know what I'm trying to say? It's more for a book. You know what I'm trying to say, or an anthology or something like that. Whereas spoken word is to be performed. You know what I'm trying to say, you want to perform it to an audience, and that's the main difference for me. And I actually, to be fair, Poetic Unity is much more focused on the spoken word side than we are on the poetry side. That makes sense. We're much more of a performance-based organization. Yeah. even though we obviously do focus on the poetry side too, but I definitely say like, you know, a lot of what we do is more spoken word.
Okay. So what has been the interest like? What are the interests has been from your community in Brixton? What's it been like?
Would you say what in the stuff that we're doing?
Yeah, and the stuff that, so if you put an event on, like will lots of people come out? What was the response at the beginning to the end? Oh wow, I say end at the minute.
Yeah, I mean, it's always been really steady, you know. I mean, from when we started, because I've always been doing events. I've been doing events since I was 16. So
Okay.
I've always known a lot of people. I've always been around a lot of people. So when I went into doing poetry stuff and poetry events and that, I kind of just, you know, the people I used to come to my other events, I would tell them, look, try out. A lot of them didn't like poetry as well before they came to my events.
Yeah.
But like when they started coming to the Poetic Unity events, it's like, oh, actually, this is cool. You know what I'm saying? This isn't what I thought it was going to be. So, I mean, we've always had a steady amount of people coming to our events, and we do a weekly event. We've done a weekly event, like more or less since we started, every week, and it's never been empty. So, like, yeah, it's been like the response from the community has been really good. And I've always said, like, I'm only going to run and do Poetic Unity as long as the community needs it. I'm trying to say the community has always needed it, and even more so now, obviously during this pandemic.
For real. And you know what? You've been taking it on live. You've been doing Instagram lives with Poetic Unity on Wednesdays and Sundays. What's that been like, and why did you take it to Instagram live?
Yeah, so I mean, obviously before this pandemic, we never even ever used Instagram live. We never used Zoom. We never used any of these like different online things, because everything we delivered, it was in person. Like, so we did a workshop, it'll be in schools, or just in a venue, or if we did events, it'll be in a venue. You know what I'm trying to say? So, or mentoring similar. So like to do it online, it was tough to adapt to that at first, because I've never done it before. But I mean, we thought, let's try a thing, let's try Instagram live, see what happens. And like the response was really good. I mean, like because the venue that we usually use for our Wednesday event, for example, is in Brixton. It's called the Black Cultural Archives, but that venue is very small. It's an intimate space, so you can get like 50 people in there at most.
Yeah.
But because we're on Instagram live now, and obviously the whole world can watch, we're reaching 150 people a week minimum. So we're reaching like more than double what we usually get. You see what I'm trying to say? So I think that's definitely like one good thing about social media, is that it's allowed us to reach more people in different places, and sometimes people can't come to an event, but they can watch from home, you know. So I think like social media has definitely helped us deliver and connect with the community. You know what I'm trying to say, like in terms of the work we're trying to achieve and the help we're trying to provide the community as well. Do you know what I'm saying? So so like obviously doing the Poets Corner, obviously we do quarantine poems as well, as you've been involved in yourself, on Fridays. And again, that's just about getting people to write, getting people to talk about how they're feeling at this moment, and also just getting people active. You know what I'm trying to say? And obviously the Sundays is more focused on like mental health and bringing the community together and like allowing people to have a conversation with another human. You know what I'm trying to say? So definitely. I think like the online services have really have been great, to be honest. Like they couldn't have gone better, they've gone way better than I expected. You know what I'm saying? Bearing in mind, like I said, we've never done this before online, so I feel like they've been quite successful so far in terms of like what we're trying to achieve.
Definitely. And what I've noticed as well, you seem very focused on mental health. Is that a big subject for yourself?
I mean, you know what it is? Like when we first started Poetic Unity, we was never focused on. I say the first 2 years we wasn't really focused on mental health at all. Yeah. And it's only as time went on, and I realized just how powerful poetry is for mental health. You know what I'm trying to say? Poetry is literally therapy. You know what I'm trying to say? It's like it's self-healing, and it's free. Yeah, you know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, release.
Yeah, it's a big release. So it's only when I started realizing, you know, as we grew as an organization, and as a founder, I started to learn more about, you know, the work we're doing and what we're delivering and what we're achieving. I started realizing that the young people kept saying, like, you know, the workshop we're doing, they kept saying, oh, like I have anxiety or I have depression. And then after they've done the workshop, they felt like that had eased and it had got better because of poetry. So I'm trying to say, so because of all them, just because of like the knowledge I gained over a couple of years, I started realizing that, bro, we're actually like providing like a service for mental health right now. And I didn't even realize we was at first. You see what I'm trying to say? So like, and because mental health is such a big thing, it's like something that, and even more so now, you know what I'm trying to say? Like,
definitely.
I was just talking to someone earlier and I was saying to them, I don't care who you are, it might not be now, it might not be a year down the line, it might be 2 years down the line, but this pandemic is going to have some sort of mental effect on everybody. That's everyone in the world. I'm trying to say, some people it's going to affect more, some people it's going to affect less, but it's going to affect all of us somewhere or another. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I'm saying. Even more so now, we need, like, the community services are really needed. You know what I'm saying? And organisations like Poetic Unity are needed more now than ever. And I was just saying to someone earlier today, I was saying, I feel like I was built for this pandemic because to me, Poetic Unity is so needed right now, amongst other organisations like it. You know what I'm trying to say? And like, I feel like that's why I've always said Poetic Unity and the work I do with Poetic Unity, and even other than that, is my purpose. You know what I'm trying to say? So I feel like I was leading up to this point. Like, this pandemic was always going to happen, and I was always meant to be here to try to help people. You know what I'm trying to say? So, definitely, like, mental health is a big thing to us. Like I said, it wasn't originally, but when we started understanding just how, positive an impact poetry can have on mental health. That's when I was like, we got to focus more on this now, because mental health is everything. If you haven't got your mental health, then, it doesn't matter how great you are in physical shape.
Yeah, definitely. I have to give big respect for that, because some people might just go past that, but you've been pushing it. And even people from all over the world, when they're talking to you, you're always trying to help with their mental health. So I have to give you big respect for that, for sure.
No, thank you, man. I appreciate it. I think for me, like I said, man, like, I just feel like I'm living my purpose. You know what I'm saying? And that's all I can ask for. I mean, I feel like all of us that are on this earth right now are trying to find our purpose, even if we don't know we're trying to find it. You know what I'm trying to say? So I feel blessed to be able to have found mine and be able to actively, like, deliver it. You know what I'm trying to say to the community, because I was genuinely concerned, like, when this all first happened, that I was genuinely concerned about how we're going to deliver our services, because obviously, like I said, all our services are in person. So I was really concerned. But thankfully to social media and things like Zoom and stuff, we're allowed to still, connect with people, and in some ways even more people, which is great.
Yeah, but you know what? This is one way how social media, it can be used positively and not negative. So that's good. So what's next for you? How can people get involved in Poetic Unity?
So the best thing to do is, like, just contact us. Obviously we do the Poets Corner. Anyone can perform at that every week. We have a system where, you just email us to perform, and then obviously if there's space, you'll be able to perform in there. So the email is poeticunity@outlook.com. So if people want to get involved, they can just email us. And also, obviously, Quarantine Poems, very similar. Just email us. Again, that's a different email though. So email info@poeticunity.org.uk for that. Just email, and then we'll send you a topic. And a timeline of when to write the poem by. And then on Sundays, again, Sundays is an email thing, but it's also, you can just DM us. Because Sundays is, like I said, there's an hour where you can talk to us just about anything you're going through. And again, it's best to email for that specifically. So, like, that's info@poeticunity.org.uk again. And you can just put the communion as a title, and then obviously we'll set up a time to have a conversation with you, one of our team members. Because it ain't just me. I'm always the one on social media at the moment, but there's other people, on the team that are doing other stuff behind the scenes. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. And how many is there of all of you?
So there's on the board. There's how many people on the board? There's 4 board members.
Okay.
And then we have 2 part-time staff. Obviously myself, and we have volunteers as well. So but the volunteer number changes all the time. I'm trying to say, sometimes we have 10 volunteers, sometimes we have 5. It all depends on what we're doing.
Okay.
So it varies. But the main kind of bulk team at the moment is like myself, the 2 kind of part-time staff, and obviously the board members. There's 4 of them. So 7 of us all together, I'd say, just like generally all the time. The communion, just email for that again. And obviously, when we do the poetry on Insta Live for the communion from 7 p.m, you can just jump on Insta Live at that time. Anyone can get involved in that. I'm trying to say, it doesn't have to be an email process or nothing. That's just for anyone to just jump in.
Definitely. People, if you get the chance, you need to go on there, because some of the poetry is deep. When one person writes, the next person writes, and it comes up as a deep piece of poetry. Go and check it out if you can, for real.
You know what's funny about that as well? Like, I just did that by accident, because that's something I do in a workshop, innit? Sometimes when we do workshops, especially like when it's like a large group of young people, like we'll get like how we do it is everyone will write like a couple lines on a piece of paper, then they fold it up so no one can see it, and then the next person writes under that, and then under that and under that, so no one can see what anyone's writing. And it's very similar to the Instagram live because no one's watching when I'm writing. I'm just writing what I'm writing. That's what I say, and everyone's just kind of writing a line on the topic. But it's crazy how it always seems to connect. Even though everyone's writing from a different perspective, you see what I'm trying to say? So that's what I really like about that session, is that we're connecting on a similar topic, obviously, which is trying to uplift us. And also, we're all writing about something in our own way, but then it all connects in some way. It just shows how, closely connected humans are. You know what I'm trying to say? That it's
definitely
a really good session, actually. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for real. So if there's a young person listening right now, or any person, in fact, and say if they've got a poetry piece and they've constructed it but feel nervous in showcasing the piece of music or piece of poetry, what can you say to them to get in touch with you to showcase it to you?
I feel like, what would be good? I think the best thing would be for them to watch one of our events first. You sometimes say watch like a Poets Corner on a Wednesday.
Yeah.
Like get a feel of the vibe. You know what I'm trying to say? Because obviously, one of the main things I always want to create, like for everybody involved, like no matter what age, is a non-judgmental environment. You know what I'm trying to say? An environment where people feel safe to be themselves and feel safe to have a voice. Definitely. So, you know what I'm saying? The most important thing is, I think, is for them to like, just to see that for themselves, to see like, oh, rah, like this is an environment where I could be myself and everyone's friendly and everyone's really like, it's a real community feel. Do you know what I'm trying to say?
For real.
And then obviously after that event, then they can be like, okay, cool. I feel more comfortable now to perform, or they can just contact us. You know what I'm saying? So obviously Instagram at Poetic Unity. You can DM us if you have any like queries, like direct queries about things, or you know what I'm saying? Like there's or even Twitter. Twitter is Poetic_Unity. So they can do that as well. But I think the best thing to do is to see something for yourself, like see the event for yourself.
Yeah.
And you can really see what you're going to get involved in and see how much of a community event it is and how positive it is. You know what I'm saying?
Definitely. And I would recommend that people go and check it out for real. So before you go, would you be up for showcasing a piece of your poetry for the listeners out there?
Yeah, I'll share a little something for you guys.
Okay, so whenever you're ready, then begin.
Cool. When I'm meeting someone new, convos vary. But the welcome is always the same, it rarely changes, so just hear me. It goes something like, hello, hun, if a girl, or yo, done, if a male, but it seems that both of the sexes can't help asking the same old question. What are you? Sorry, come again? Ragz, what are you? What do you think I am? Stupid man. I'm a human being. I'm an alien to you, because my family are black and European. Or is it the fact that my skin is a light brown, I like to call it beige? Or just the way that I talk, so you might be confused, like I bet you £10 by these foolish ways. Listen, don't piss me off, blood. I'm no different, because we're all different. And like most peeps in this room, I'm proud of where I'm from. Jamaican and Irish, born in the south of London. But that won't define me. And more importantly, when you meet me for the first time, don't ask about background for the first line. Because you're on a boxing stereotypical bind. Sorry, Bridget, I'm too advanced in the mind to fall for ignorant kind. It's people like you, while racism is still on the rise. You ask why? Morgan Freeman said it best. Racism will come to an end when we start talking about race. Question, why is it so important? We're all related. You can sit here debating all day long, but I won't change it. And who cares if a man's darker than Wesley or whiter than Elvis Presley? Because the character of a man that makes him a saint or something deadly. So ask yourself, after hearing what I've said, does it make you want to be more considerate instead? If it doesn't, then to be honest, my dude, the real question isn't what am I? It's what are you?
Yeah, you know what? That's blessed. That is. That's a great piece, for real. You know what? I've really enjoyed speaking with you. I hope that you continue the work that you're doing and people go and support Poetic Unity. It's a pure vibe, for real. Is there anything that you would like to say to the listeners out there before we go?
Yeah, man, just like do what you feel comfortable to do in it. Don't feel like pressure to do anything that you don't want to do. And just as a bit of advice, make sure you connect with humans. You know what I'm trying to say? This is a really important time not to be isolated. You know what I'm saying? Like being isolated in this time is the worst thing you can do. And obviously just go outside, exercise, just be around people, obviously social distance and all that stuff. But I'm just saying, connect with people, whether it's on a phone, whether it's from a safe distance, whatever you need to do, just connect with people and also connect with us. If you want to be part of a community that's going to provide you a safe space to be yourself, then yeah, feel free to connect with us. Like I said, our social media, our Instagram is Poetic Unity, and our Twitter is Poetic_Unity, and our Facebook is Poetic Unity Project. So yeah, wherever suits you best, let's get involved. And again, just one more thing. Yeah. You don't have to be a poet to be involved with Poetic Unity. You know what I'm saying? It's not that. You just be involved in a safe community. That's the most important thing.
Yeah, for real. You know what? I hope we can. Of course, we're going to keep the link and be in touch very, very soon. So have a blessed rest of the day. Yeah.
Yes, you too. Thank you, Kat.
No worries. Anytime.